So the last thing that is on the grade sheet here to talk about and expand on is using an action to make your animation loop. Before we talk about doing that, let's talk about what I have and what you have created so far in your animation. The best way to do that, to get a real idea of what people will be seeing when they view your animation online, is to hit Command Return. So up until now, most of the time when we view the animations, we're just clicking over here to go home and then clicking the play button, and we see what it looks like inside the program. But to get an idea of what it would look like by default inside of a browser, we just go Command Return, launches the browser, and then plays the animation in the browser. So this is what your users would see. And when it gets to the end, it just stays there. So what if we wanted to see this over and over? Well, first thing is we have to make something that would look decent over and over. So just going from here directly to here would be a bit awkward. So usually either making something that finishes exactly where it starts works very well for a loop, then no one has a clue when it starts and stops, or just a simple fade to black works really nice. So let me show you a super easy way to do a fade to black. In this case, our animation ends over here at 8 seconds. What we can do is just put a black rectangle over our animation, start it out with 0 opacity, and go to full opacity. Okay, so I zoomed out a little bit on the stage just so I could see what's happening here, and then I'll grab the rectangle tool and I'll make a rectangle that covers the whole entire stage. And let's call this layer fade out. And let's go ahead and I'm going to do this animation backwards just to show you another technique, because sometimes that makes the most sense, is to do something backwards and then flip it around. So let's just start out with this full opacity right here. Select it. We'll put in our keyframe for full opacity. We'll go to about a second later here, and then we will change the opacity all the way down to 0. There's our automatic kicking in for us. And we just have this showing up too soon, so we'll go up here and we'll change it to on right there. So now we have just the opposite of what we need. We have instant black, and then it kind of fades in. We need a fade out. So what we're going to do is just flip that animation around. Now you have to select the animation in this case, not the entire layer, just the one particular animation. So I'm going to click away and then come down here, click on just the opacity animation, right click, and then invert transition. And now we have everything looks normal, and it just starts getting a little bit darker, a little bit darker, a little bit darker till we have black. So now if we put something similar at the beginning, that should work out pretty nice for us. So let's go here to the beginning. Let's go up to, what is it, timeline, and let's insert some time here. So insert time, give us 1 second, and then we want to go from total blackness to nothingness. So we have drawn this rectangle at the 0 mark, and let's just name this fade in. And so we will go ahead and let's place a keyframe for this with the opacity right there at 100%. Move over to the 1 second mark where we want that fading all the way out of view so it's no longer covering. And we'll just change that down. Our auto features kicked in, and now let's see what that looks like. So it instantly comes in, the action starts, goes, and then at the end we're going to get the opposite. So it's going to start at black, finish at black. Now if we loop it, it should be fine. So how do we loop it? Well, the key here is that that's the norm for the program, is just to play and to stop. So we have to use JavaScript to get it to play, but luckily that's very easy for us. There's two places that you can add JavaScript, so to speak. I mean, there's actually more than that, but there's two ways to think about it. One is you can add it right at the timeline so that it's triggered by the timeline. So if right here at this point in the timeline at the end, I put a trigger and wrote some code that essentially says go to the beginning and play, or actually all it would really need to say is just simply play, that would work. And that's all we're going to talk about in this video, but we eventually will be able to put code for certain objects. So the most logical example of that would be play buttons, stop buttons, repeat buttons, and things like that. So how do we add action to the timeline? Well, it's right here. It's been here all along. This little thing that says action. Put the playhead exactly where you want it. Click on this little insert trigger, and when you click on that, it makes this window fly open, and you can use this side and this side here to help you write the code. Now the code actually that's written here is shortcut code, so you don't even actually get to see the true JavaScript, but that doesn't matter. I mean, all that matters is that we get the job done. So I'm going to click playback because that's the one that makes the most sense here. Then I'm going to click play because that's what I wanted to do, is to get there and to play. And then I have to pick a target. So notice I have further things I can choose from here, but all I need is actually just the main animation, aka the stage. Now I should be able to just hit enter now, and then this is what's actually been written, and this just stands for symbol.play open close parentheses semicolon. This is a very common looking code that you will see show up in here, or versions of it. Alright, so let's close out this panel, and you can see that we have this little icon here now, and if we preview this in the browser, what we should see is it'll get to the end, fade out as we told it to, and it should play again. And there we go. So, and that will keep on going forever, which you could see would be very handy for an ad on an internet page or something similar to that.